Happy VA Wednesday. So today I wanted to talk about signs your real estate agent is not working for you. This video was inspired by a new client that we have. We have them fully underwritten and approved, and they're now with a new agent. So before we start, I'm a lender. My team can help you everywhere in America. We've been one of the top VA purchase teams in America for multiple years. 786-933-2077. Yes, we waive our lender fee on VA, and yes, our rates are competitive too. So please reach out. Okay. I was talking to this client, and we were looking at the houses they were going to look at, and they were telling me about their prior experience, and we just were all laughing. You know, they watched this channel, so they knew as it was happening, it was wrong. So let me give you some examples. So first of all, the real estate agent, they're in a part of the country where there's a good amount of inventory, and there's not a lot of buyers right now. Homeowners insurance prices have gone up. It's also summer. It's a market where you really have more power as a buyer in the summer. So every single house they went to, and here's the thing, the husband, the wife is like a detective. She's a full detective, guys. She's looking up comparable sales. She's looking at what's, sold in the area. How much should this house be? And she'd tell the agent, let's say it was 300. She'd say, hey, look, we want to offer 280. You can't do that. What? We want to offer 280. We think the house is worth 280. We want them to pay our closing costs. Yeah, they're not going to go for that. What? We want you to do this. Yeah, they're not going to do that. Okay, so this agent basically, anytime they wanted to write an offer, they were trying to talk them up. Okay, the funniest part about this is a lot of the houses that they had wanted to write these lower offers on ultimately sold at those prices, but their agent had been gaslighting them that, hey, yeah, no, that's not going to work. We have to offer more. We have to offer more. That's your first sign that your real estate agent is not working for you. Now, look, if you're going to lowball $100,000 in a hot market, if I was your real estate agent, I'd be like, hey, look, it's not super realistic. Here's why, right? But if you have an agent where they're just saying, nope, you've got to do more, you've got to do more, but they're not showing you why, red flag, red flag, red flag. The second thing, before I do the second thing, I just want to say, you're like, well, why would an agent even do that? They're just trying to get an easy sale. They know that if they go in at a lower price, their odds of getting it are lower, and they don't want to take the effort to write the offer unless they know it's a sure thing. It's a lazy, lame move. Okay. Sometimes it's because they don't know the market because they haven't sold a house since 2022. But in this case, it was just laziness. They wanted a sure thing. That simple. So the next thing is they were going and looking at houses, and they would be like, yeah, this one's never going to go VA. And I'm like, why? What did they say? There was a tear in the screen. In a screen door, there was a tear in the screen. Guys, here's the thing. VA loans do not care about that at all. At all. If an appraiser called that out and we went to VA and said, hey, we don't want to fix this, they'd be like, yeah, you don't have to. Who cares? They only care about health and safety. That's it. So if you have someone that's like, oh, the closet doors don't have handles, this ain't going to go VA. What? What the hell? That's not health and safety, okay? Now look, if they're like, the foundation's cracked in two, this one, yeah, no, it's not gonna go anything. We don't want that. So if they're coming up with these nitpick, stupid reasons that it's not gonna go VA, that's your second red flag. And if you're like, well, how do I know? If you're working with us, which I hope you are, just call us. Just call us. And here's the other thing to know. Hand railings are like a big VA thing. They love a good hand railing on stairs. If the house doesn't have one, just put one in before closing. Stuff can get fixed. If there's a broken window, it doesn't mean it will never go VA. It just means it's going to have to get fixed before closing. And guess what? Broken windows an issue with FHA and conventional as well. I'm talking about a shattered pane. I'm not talking about a broken lock, okay? So really important that you recognize that if someone's shooting down houses saying they won't go they won't go VA for really stupid reasons, they just don't know what they're doing. So that's your second red flag. Or they could know what they're doing, but they're trying to steer you to a specific house. Always be wary of that. Okay, what else? Number 3, they're trying to talk you out of using VA. Now, this did not happen with these clients, but we see this a lot. We'll see that a real estate agent will say to a veteran buyer, well, if you want a house, you can't do VA here. What? Why? Well, they just don't like them. I don't think so. No. And that's the thing, is that sometimes you just have real estate agents that really are clueless. And what I have found, and you'll hear it in some markets, like I've heard in parts of New Jersey, well, you can't do VA. There's a gal named Heather that we use all the time with our VA clients. She's always like, okay, let's go. Gets them in a house. You know, sometimes it's like in the world, right? There's some people that are just negative about everything always. Like, you know who they are. We all avoid them, right? Like you go out to lunch, they're like, the burger's terrible. You go out to dinner, it's like a Michelin-starred restaurant. The burger's terrible. And then there's other people that are like, you know, the burger's okay, but it's good. Let's go. You know, you want that person, right? You don't want Mr. Negativity, blah, 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 you know, because if they're like, oh, you got to be conventional. Well, guess what's better than conventional? Cash. So are they not going to work with you unless you're a billionaire? Like, it's just silly. So watch out for that. Now, the other thing that happened with these guys, which was alarming, is that the real estate agent pushed to their lender hard, real hard. Ooh, they pushed them hard. And at surface level, the lender does a good amount of deals, but they don't really do a lot of VA. And the information that the buyers kept on getting was terrible. And then to make matters worse, they finally found a house, great deal. Everything was negotiated. The lender switches companies in the middle of the transaction, tells them to cancel their file with the company the lender was at and to move it to the new company. Here's the thing, never do that. Never do that. If I ever left rate, which I never would, but if I ever did, I would not tell you to switch your loan mid-process, ever. In this case, because I know the company they were at before, this company could have closed the loan. They made the buyer switch to this company and declined them. Oh gosh, they might actually have a lawsuit there. That's interesting. Oof, lawyers are expensive. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing. This lender, when it came to guidelines, didn't have the overlays that the new lender, the lender went to, did. And it was the lender overlays, which made it so these guys got declined. So they had worked with this annoying realtor. They finally got a great house. And then the lender is a greedy, I'm trying to say nice things, is a greedy troll who, instead of just saying, okay, yeah, I'm switching companies, close with my old company, brings it to the new company and declines them. Right? He didn't realize he was going to decline them. He didn't know his guidelines. He just thought, oh, I want to make sure I get a paycheck. So watch out for that as well. Overall, here's the thing. You want to watch out for those 3 big red flags. And you also want to make sure, I would be very hesitant when a real estate agent is steering you to a lender, especially as a veteran, because we hear a lot of this stuff of, well, they're local. Who cares? Like, look, the lender's not showing you the house. VA is a very nuanced loan. You need a lender that can perform. And the question's going to be, okay, so you want me to go to this lender? Why? They're local. That's not enough. Are they a VA expert? Yeah, they are. Great. Can you show me something that shows that? Right? It's like, look, if anyone ever goes, oh, you're working with Jennifer? Well, I want you to work with my local lender, and you're a veteran, you literally go, dude, she's the #1 VA purchase loan officer in America for the last 2 years. Here's all the data. Okay? And if they go, oh, well, you need to work with a local lender. Are they working for you? What's going on there? What's going on there? None of that is real. And in this situation, you know, these people's pitch to this lender put the borrower in a situation where they lost their house. And honestly, truly, they shouldn't have. So questions, comments, as always, reach out. Yes, I want to be your lender. I do. 786-933-2077. Oh, the last question I always get is, well, Jen, do you recommend real estate agents? Here's what we do. So if we have a real estate agent in an area that clients have worked with and liked, we will recommend those agents if we had a good experience with them as well. Sometimes they're top producing agents, sometimes they're not. You know, one of my favorite agents in Florida doesn't do a ton of business, but they're the best negotiator in the state of Florida, right? They just don't do marketing, you know? So we would recommend someone that we've had a good experience with. If it's an area that we don't have someone we've worked with and really liked, and there are parts of the country where we've done a lot of business there, but we've never really liked anyone, we will do research. And what that means is Wendy on my team, she looks up reviews, she looks up how many houses people have sold, she calls them, she talks to them, all of that. We do not take a referral fee. And I just wanted to let you guys know that, because I know finding a real estate agent can be hard. And I know a lot of people have been burnt by some of the big VA companies because they're like, oh, use our real estate agent. They're just doing that because they're getting a kickback. They're taking 30 to 35% of the real estate agent's paycheck. That's why they're recommending those people. We don't take a nickel. We don't charge you. I want you with the best agent possible, period. Okay? So questions, comments, 786-933-2077. Thanks for watching.